Japan, 1877. The last echo of the samurai resonates across the hills of Kagoshima. On Mount Shiroyama, a small band of warriors makes their final stand, their swords glinting in the pale dawn, their hearts resolute against an enemy unlike any they had faced before. Across the valley, a modern army waits, rifles glinting, artillery poised, warships ready in the harbor, an unstoppable force forged by the Meiji government's push for modernization. The confrontation about to unfold would mark not only the end of a rebellion, but the symbolic death of an entire warrior class. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe below for more videos. In the years following the Meiji Restoration, Japan had been transformed. The privileges of the samurai, once the pillars of feudal society, had been stripped away. Their stipends reduced or abolished, their exclusive right to bear swords questioned, their identity challenged by a nation racing toward industrialization and centralization. Swords gave way to rifles, and honor gave way to bureaucracy. Yet there were those who could not accept this new order. Among them stood Saigō Takamori, once celebrated as a hero of the Restoration, now a reluctant leader of a doomed insurrection. Saigō's heart remained bound to the old code Bushido: loyalty, courage and sacrifice over expediency or survival. In Satsuma, a province still pulsing with samurai tradition, discontent had been simmering for years. The reforms had struck deep, threatening their livelihoods, status and very purpose. By early 1877, the simmering unrest boiled over into full-scale rebellion. Thousands rallied to Saigō's banner, a tide of warriors both seasoned and young, resolute but increasingly outmatched by the forces of modernization. The rebellion swept across Kyushu, marked by skirmishes, sieges, and fierce engagements against government troops. Early victories emboldened the rebels, but each triumph invited a heavier, more organized response. Supplies became scarce, disease spread, and the toll of battle weighed heavily on both body and spirit. Despite their skill and ferocity, the samurai faced the inexorable reality of modern warfare. Numbers, technology, and logistics now determined victory. By September, after months of retreat and attrition, Saigō's once formidable force had been reduced to a fraction of its original size. Approximately 500 men, weary, hungry, yet unbowed. These remnants made a final stand on Mount Shiroyama, a wooded ridge overlooking their home city of Kagoshima, a position chosen not for tactical advantage, but for symbolic significance. It was the heart of Satsuma, and here the samurai would fall or die trying. The Imperial army, commanded by Yamagata Aritomo, approached with calculated precision. Estimates place its strength at around 30,000 troops, armed with rifles, artillery, and Gatling guns. The odds were staggering, roughly 60 to 1, but the samurai on Shiroyama did not flinch. Trenches were dug, barricades erected, and the warriors prepared their weapons with the calm resolve of men who understood their fate. Warships in the harbor began shelling the ridge, while artillery and infantry fire hammered the forested slopes. The night before the assault was restless, filled with the sounds of distant cannons and the murmur of anxious men checking armor, tightening straps and whispering silent prayers. Each samurai faced the ultimate choice: flee and abandon their honor, or stand and embrace certain death. At dawn on 24 September 1877, the assault began. The Imperial forces advanced in disciplined formations, rifles firing, artillery exploding, the noise deafening across the ridge. The defenders, outnumbered and outgunned, held their ground, swords drawn, hearts beating in unison with the pulse of history itself. Saigō, despite being gravely aware of the odds, rose to lead his men. He bore the banner of his cause, a symbol of resistance to the new order, a beacon of the samurai spirit. With a final glance at his followers, he gave the signal and the men charged. They ran downhill into a hail of bullets, artillery fire cutting through the trees, smoke enveloping the battlefield. The clash was brutal, a collision of eras, traditional swordsmanship against modern firepower. Samurai fell in droves, yet the line did not break. For a brief, surreal moment, the courage and discipline of the old warriors forced hesitation in the Imperial ranks. They struck with precision, their swords flashing, their resolve unwavering. a testament to centuries of martial training and honor. By mid-morning, the toll was evident. Only about 40 of Saigō's men remained alive. Saigō himself was mortally wounded, shot in the hip or abdomen, his life ebbing yet his spirit unyielding. According to legend, he understood that his death was imminent. He entrusted his loyal retainer, Beppu Shinsuke, to act as his second in the ritual of seppuku, to ensure that his end would honor the code he had lived by. Beppu carried out the ritual with solemn precision. Even as their leader fell, the remaining warriors made one final charge, swords drawn, into the overwhelming enemy forces. They fought not for victory was impossible, but for the principle that honor, courage, and loyalty must be upheld, even unto death. Every swing of the sword, every breath drawn in defiance, resonated with the spirit of the samurai. By the end of the morning, all had fallen. The ridge was silent save for the moans of the wounded and the crackling of lingering gunfire. The battle was over. The Satsuma Rebellion had ended, and with it the samurai ceased to exist as a military force. The modern army had proven its dominance. The era of swords and armor had been replaced by rifles and industry. Yet the story did not end with their deaths. Saigō Takamori's legacy grew, mythologized as the last true samurai. Statues now stand in Kagoshima and Tokyo, memorials to courage, to the steadfast refusal to bow to an inevitable tide of change. The Battle of Shiroyama endures in memory, not because it was victorious, but because it embodied the ultimate expression of Bushido: loyalty, courage, self-sacrifice, and the preservation of honor against insurmountable odds. The charge of a few hundred men against an army of thousands is a lesson transcending centuries. That courage is measured not by survival, but by the willingness to act according to one's principles, even in the face of certain defeat. When swords met rifles, when arrows met artillery, when honor met inevitability, the samurai of Shiroyama rode into legend. And while the age of the samurai passed, their story echoes across time, reminding the world that bravery, loyalty, and integrity can transcend the rise of machines and empires. On that September morning, in a final, desperate, and defiant act, the samurai fought, bled, and died. But they did so with their dignity intact, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire. The Battle of Shiroyama is remembered not as a triumph of strategy or numbers, but as a testament to the human spirit, to the decision to stand when the world has already decided the outcome. And thus, the last warriors of an ancient age rode into history, not for glory, not for reward, but because some ideals are worth more than life itself, and the echo of their courage still resonates today